Hello and welcome to another edition of Andy Shed Live. This is Series 9, Episode number 9 for Sunday the 5th of September 2021. Hello there and welcome to the show. It's that time again, that time of the week. We are here again back in our normal Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon slot, or maybe Sunday morning if you're in certain parts of the world, or maybe even Monday morning if you're in certain parts of the world. Hello there, we are with you for the next hour or so, talking all things vintage stuff and weird stuff and telephones and you name it, it's on here. You can talk about whatever you like, basically, within reason. And if you want to join the community, then join the chat that you can see scrolling on the side of the screen here. If you're watching after the event, of course you can't, although you can probably leave a comment. But if you're watching live, you can join this chat here by going to our YouTube channel, Andy Shed on YouTube, and clicking this live stream direct on YouTube, and you will see a chat window alongside where you can chat. And if you're feeling flush and you want to send us a bob or two, you can even send us super chats and literally get your name in lights if you send us a super chat. Quite a few people already in the chat here. Today we've got Jimmy is here, Penfold is here, Dominic is here, Gambo Scott is here, Wesley Pegden is here, Fat Hobbit is here, and Christopher 2000 is here as well. Just looking what everybody's saying. Penfold is still offshore working, hopefully home next week, he says. Might have to catch up later, as he's actually working at the moment offshore. He's rowing around the world, that's what it is. he's in a rowing boat. I'm sure he's in a rowing boat. Well, yeah, hello everybody and welcome to the show. First thing I've got to do this week is I've got to get this bit of paper from up here, because I've got to cut another one of these out. Doing a lot of this at the moment, doing a lot of this cutting out of these. I have to hold it up when I do it. People say when you do things, hold it up, because we can't see if you don't hold it up. So there it is. I print these out. We're going to put them on a website or something somewhere to download these when I get my act together and get around to it. But yes, there's been a lot happening this week, so I'm just cutting around this because we have something for this to fit in. Now, do you remember, was it a couple of weeks ago when I had that bag of bits and pieces and I was going through that red polythene bag full of bits and pieces, and somebody said, that's that missing spring for that trim phone in there, and I found the other leg as well. That was the missing leg for the dial supports for that trim phone. Well, you'll be pleased to know it's back, and the dial support has now got all four legs, and also when I wind it, the hook switch is now springy. So whoever said that looked like the spring was probably right. It is a bit, you have to put that on there with some force for it to hold down fully, you know. It can sort of lift up a bit, because the spring does seem a bit tight. I said it seemed a bit tight last week, didn't I? But it does work, it is there, so there it is. So there is just one thing left to do, I guess, and that is sticking its dial label like so. And with one of the opals that I got in a job lot of stuff the other week, stick the opal in, and there we go. I forgot it's a trim phone, I can drag it off the desk. So there we go, trim phone, all done. So that is now all back into service and into use. And why am I on this silly top chat again when I want to be on live chat? Because top chat don't tell them what's actually happening. Right, what is everybody saying? Fat Hobbit says, get a guillotine for cutting those much quicker. How do you cut a circle with a guillotine? You can get circle cutters. I know you can. I know you can get circle cutters. But I don't know where you get a circle cutter. You probably have to buy it online. I certainly don't see them in the shops or anything. Fat Hobbit says that Dominic Meakin, perhaps Andy could let us know where to get acetone. Yes, the pound shop, one below, I think is the one. Now, pound shops in the UK, there used to be two. There used to be Poundland and there used to be Pound World. Poundland is still around. That's a sort of greeny bluey coloured shop. Pound World, which was sort of bright blue and yellow, that one closed down, but a lot of them are now reopened as one below, and basically all that's happened is the name's changed. If you go in there, look where all the nail varnish and things are, and you get little bottles of nail varnish remover, a bottle about so big, and look at that. It's normally in a sort of purpley coloured bottle. Look at that, look very closely though, and make sure it is just acetone, because some of the cheaper versions, like what they said at the other pound shop in Poundland, are acetone, and when you look at the ingredients it says acetone and aqua, which is of course water. So it's watered down, that is, and it doesn't work. But sometimes in one below you get, they call it 99% acetone, because you can never call anything 100%, you know, so they have to call it 99% acetone. It's like the bleach you put down the toilet that kills 99% of known germs. Well, it's just because they can never say it kills 100%, and they can never say anything is total and perfect. It has to be 99%. So look for this 99% acetone. In Pound World, and that's where I get it from, and a little bottle lasts ages and ages and ages. Failing that, you can buy it off eBay. You can buy bigger bottles of it off eBay and just get it sent to you if you want to get it through the post. So it is possible to get it sort of on the high street and also through the post. Or if you've got a beauty salon or something near you, go in there and see if they've got any acetone, because obviously they use it as nail varnish remover as well. So that's the place to get acetone from. Gambo says, I took my trim phone to bits, double check that spring for you. Yeah, thanks Gambo, it's definitely the right one, I think. Oh, it does seem a little bit strong, but yeah. Yeah, you see, it doesn't always go all the way down. You have to put it down, and when you put it down with a bit of force, it does stay there. But I think it's alright. Dominic says, that's quite a nice colour combination. Yeah, it's an unusual one, isn't it, Dominic? There's a push button version of this on eBay at the minute. They're wanting £199 for it. I laughed and looked at something else. Christopher says, I found how to get an 8782 phone to work in Australia on my PBX. The PBX has a ring capacitor built into the socket. It did a test with the 746, wired it in, BT plug, wired it in the BT plug and socket way. Cool. That should be alright then, I would have thought. Dominic says, any tips for colour restoring curly chords? That's an interesting one, Dominic. They don't normally go. Have I got one here? I can show you. No, I've not got one. There's one in here, just a sec. No, there isn't. Yeah, curly chords don't normally discolour. However, I've found that certain ones do. Don't know why. It only seems to be certain ones that go. Some ivory ones go, some grey ones go, but the others don't seem to discolour much. And some of the ivory ones and some of the grey ones don't discolour much. But others do. In fact, I've had an ivory one quite recently that was almost brown. It was that suntanned. And I don't know how you can colour restore the cord. It's probably not worth it. It's probably a case of get a new cord or get a new old stock cord. I do sell them in the shop in the Emporium, and it's emporium.coldpress.net. The grey ones are in there, and I will put some others in there as well when I get around to it. But yeah, they are in the shop. Mine are recovered ones, so they are genuine old ones as opposed to new ones. But the new ones, that is one of the few parts where the reproduction ones are actually quite good. So I wouldn't worry too much about a new handset cord and that. In terms of colour restoration, in terms of if it comes uncoiled, so you see how on this trim foam, you see how that's a nice tight coil on there. If it becomes a loose coil, like that, then the thing to do is twist it the other way. Put it in some hot water, and you can hot soapy water, and you can wash it with a pan scourer. Just drag a pan scourer down it in the hot soapy water to clean it at the same time. Then you will find that your cord has gone like this probably. What you have to then do is twist it the other way, and if you twist it the other way like that, force it to twist the other way around. I have got a video somewhere on the channel about this, how to restore a curly cord. But twist it the other way like that, and you see how that's tightened up. Now it's not perfect, but it will be better than if I twist it back again. You will see it goes all loose again. See? So twist it the other way. I discovered that when I saw a bit of old footage about making curly cords. And what they do when they make them, they take a straight cord, wrap it around a rod and put it in an oven, basically. Then they slide it off the rod when it's been in this oven, and it's got a curl in it, but it's not a tight coil. So what they do is they anchor one end of it, put the other end on something similar to an electric drill, and they go, and it suddenly twists it all the other way, and it makes it into a nice tight coil. And that's how they make them. So my theory was, well, if mine's gone loose, maybe I can twist it the other way. And you can. They don't come out perfect necessarily, but they do come out a lot better. They do tighten up a lot, and sometimes they do come out pretty perfect. But I do it at the same time that I wash them normally. That's why I've not done this on this trim phone yet. This line cord that plugs in with the curly thing on it, because this line cord is absolutely manky. This still needs something doing with it. It's sticky to the touch. It's really, really horrible. But that's how you do the curly cords. Peter Blackburn's with us. He says hydrogen peroxide, would that work? That is basically the retro bright process. I've never had any luck with it at all, the retro bright process, but I know other people have, so it might be worth a try. I would say though, don't try it on a cord that you are desperate to keep, because the hydrogen peroxide, it might work or it might eat it, because it's fairly aggressive stuff, hydrogen peroxide, on certain surfaces, and I'm not sure exactly what the line cords and the curly cords and that are made out of. So yeah, it might be worth a try as retro bright. The jury is out on retro bright. Like I say, some people say they've had success with it. Personally, I've never had any success with it at all. Probably because it's not warm enough here and also not light enough, not enough sunlight. So I have different ways of colour restoring things. That's why I do the chemical sanding that I also did a video on, an alternative to the retro bright process. Dominic says, thanks for the tip, Andy. I think I might keep the replica one on for now, but get a new old stock cord after I've restored the other parts. Is this for the Ivory 746 we're talking here, Dominic? You know, Ivory 746 that you're restoring even as we speak, I believe. There's lots of restoration work going on at the moment. Not only trim phones. There's other things as well as these trim phones getting restored at the moment. I've got a tale to tell you this week. You may have noticed that this episode is called The Perils of Pay Phones. If you looked at the beginning, if you didn't, there it is again. And there's a reason for that. I'll put that up there a minute. Right, excuse me one moment while I give myself a hernia. How frightened this is having. Right, which side shall I go? How about that? This is an American 3-slot payphone. You can't actually see much of it, can you? Right, how do I do this? Right, can I move that to the camera so you can see it a bit more? Just bear with me one moment. I know how to do it. I know how to... No, I don't. Right. I'll pull it back a bit. And I'll tilt that camera down a bit. This, as I say, is an American 3-slot payphone. Called a 3-slot payphone. I need to tilt it up again now. called a 3-slot payphone because of the 3 slots on the top that you will no doubt be able to see there. One for 5 cents, one for 10 cents, and one for 25 cents. Now, I was talking to somebody about these the other day, and after I'd been talking to him about them, I was perusing eBay as you do, and this one turned up. Not expensive in terms of what these things fetch, because these fetch big money. In America, for one of these, for a restored one, you're talking over $1,000 for a fully restored one. This one was very expensive for me. It cost me 140 quid. I got it back here, and I took the back plate off, because there is a back plate to it as well that's not on it at the minute. I took the back plate off, and guess what? It's got no innards in it. There should be a coin chute and things and mechanism and things all inside there, and there's nothing inside it. It's all gone. So it's all a little bit shot, shall we say, on the inside. So there's stuff missing, basically, on the inside of it, and at the bottom it's not much better either, really. I'll show you the bottom half of it. This is the back now that you're looking at. This thing here is what they call the coin hopper. Coins go down a coin slide thing, which decides whether it's going to accept them or not, which should be higher up in the phone. It should be in this top bit here. You can see the back here of where the coins go in. It goes past these things here, which are what they call washer rejectors, which are little pegs that sense if the coin's got a hole in the middle of it or not, and if it has, they tip it out a different way. Quite a simple but very clever thing, so you can't put a washer down it and get away with paying for your phone call with washers. But from there it should come down, and there should in here be a big sort of stainless steel or aluminium mechanism in here that is the coin chutes, and it should have 3 coin chutes as to whether you put a 25-cent coin, which is a quarter of course in America, a 10-cent coin, i.e. a dime, or a 5-cent coin, i.e. a nickel, down it. I think that's right. I think 10's a dime and 5's a nickel, isn't it? I think that's the right way around. So this coin chute thing is totally missing in the back of here, and there should also on this thing at the bottom, on this, bolted onto this here, there should be what is effectively a solenoid, which flips a thing across. Now, if I turn this front ways on, you can see here's a coin vault, and this thing is a reject coin chute on this side here. Now, if I take the top bit off, now, put that away a minute, you can see here's your coin hopper, and bolted onto the front here should be this this thing that is effectively a solenoid, that depending which way you energize it, you send a DC voltage down the phone line of about 50 volts momentarily, a pulse down the phone line, and that solenoid then flicks this little plastic thing over here. And as it flips this little plastic thing over, it determines if it's flipped that way, your coin goes down here and then down here and out of your reject coin hopper there, or if it gets flipped the other way, the coin goes down and into the vault of the phone there. And although I've not got the key to get in the vault there, I can get in it around the back, of course, because the back's off. So, you know, there's a hole in the back there, so that anything I drop down there is get outable. So there's quite a few bits missing. There's the coin chute missing. There's this solenoid here, the coin reject thing, missing. And there's various contacts and things missing as well that should go inside it. So inside here, you see, is where your coin chute should be, in there. And as you can see, there's very little in there, and there's a reason there's very little in there. If I can put these bits out of the way now and get another bit, because if I get the backboard out, this is the backboard for it. Okay. Here's the backboard, and what we've basically got here is hook switch, so that should go on there like that. But all this shouldn't be here. This is what the Americans call a network, which is basically the technical gubbins out of a phone, because this payphone should have a separate bell set with things like the induction coil and capacitors in it. This one has been gutted, and they've taken the network out of a more modern phone, as you can see on a circuit board, and basically mounted it on a bit of corrugated cardboard and foam into here, and they've bent the end of this, which is the hook switch, bent that around so it will then push on this lever, which is part of the new network that's been put in, to operate the phone. So they've made it so it works without any money, basically. But I want to be able to drop coins in it, because when you drop coins into these phones, they make a noise. There are gongs in this coin slide that make different noises, because if you're making a long distance call in America, you would call the operator, tell her where you want to make the call to, and she'd say, that'll be so many cents, sir. And then when you drop the coins in, there are basically little microphones inside the coin chute that the operator listens to these gongs through. So if you drop 25 cents in, you get a sort of a fairly low pitched ding. If you drop 5 cents in, you get a very high pitched ting, and if you drop 10 cents in, you get 2 high-pitched tings. You get ting ting if you drop 10 cents in, there's ting if you drop 5 in, or dong if you drop 25 in. So the operator, by listening to that, knows how much money you've dropped into the phone, and knows whether you've dropped enough in that she's going to connect you or not. That's all missing because the coin chute's missing, because they had to take the coin chute out of the front part of the phone, so that when you put it together they've got room to put this into the back. So we've got that, but you'll see this is the curly cord for the phone that goes around the back and in. This is the line cord all coiled up, but there's an extra curly cord here that goes to this network, and I think this extra curly cord is the original curly cord for the phone, and I don't think it's ever been fully wired up correctly. So I think I need to get this to work with this. I think you would have to put the black curly cord onto these, which are where the yellow curly cord currently goes. So I think you have to put it onto those terminals there. So I don't think it's ever been fully wired up, this, after it's been converted. I think somebody's got halfway through the project and given up probably. So my plan is to take these out. I may reuse this to actually make the phone work in a bell set, but my plan is to restore the coin slides and that in this, so hopefully we can get the thing back to more or less its original condition. We think it comes from the 60s. On the back it says patented 1955, 1957 and 1961, and then there's equals 69 on it, so maybe it was made in 1969, this, which was about the end of it. I think they finished making these in about 1970. But that is what we have. The handset on it isn't right because the phone is Northern Electric, and on the handset it actually says Stromberg Carlson on it, which is the people that made phones for non-Bell, also on that camera, for non-Bell systems in America. So that's what we've got at the moment. We've got to do something with that. So that's why I say the Perils of Pay Phones, because you pay all that money for one, then you realise half of it's missing. But we will get it sorted. But I've got to get parts from America, and that might take a bit of doing. Unless one of you good people have got parts for a American 3-slot payphone. That's a Northern Electric version, we think used in Canada, that one, but it's exactly the same as far as I can tell as a Western Electric one that would have been used in the US. So it's interesting. So that's one of the things that I've been scratching my head about this week, and I think I'm going to have to scratch my head about it some more before we get it all figured out. Right, what's everybody saying in the chat? Dominic says his 746 is looking 100 times better now the fake parts have been replaced on the 1967 746. Christopher says he's restored the curly cord on his GEC 711 wall phone. Yeah, and there are some parts that should be winging their way to you tomorrow, Christopher. The bits that you wanted for that wall phone are in a box now and ready for the courier to pick them up, and they should be on their way to you tomorrow. So no idea how long it'll take for them to get to Australia from here, but they're in a box and waiting to be picked up by the courier. Dominic says, very nice, I think he's referring to the payphone. Says they seem to appear a lot in American diners. They do, don't they? You can get replicas. You know, like you can get replica trim phones and replica 746s. You can get replicas of them, but the replicas are always push button. And also on eBay, there are actually resin models of them that are not even phones. They're just like cast resin models as well. But you can get working replicas, but that seem to have the dial, but it's actually push buttons in a circle. But that is a real one, and it's incredibly heavy, and it'll be even heavier when it's got all the missing pieces put back into it as well. God knows how they hung them on a wall. They must have some very strong walls in America, that's all I can say. Christopher says that line code is an Australia one on that payphone. Is it? The line code? It's coiled up. So, you mean that, Christopher? They had a similar thing for a while in America, I believe. Are you telling me that is Australia? A closer look at that. I've seen similar things to that, but not quite the same. But I will bow to your much greater knowledge of the Australian system. Does it say anything on it? There is a little mark on it. That I can't quite read. $70-something/80. I've got no idea, Christopher. If you say that's Australian, I'll go with that because I'm not sure what it is. I thought American phones, before they went what they call modular, which they are these days, I thought they were hardwired in like the UK one, so I was quite surprised to see that on it. But who knows where this has been? I mean, I bought it from somebody in the UK. How did this get to the UK? Dominic says, do you have any UK payphones? Not like you would have had in a kiosk, Dominic. I've got a couple of sort of tabletop ones that you would have had in a bar. More modern ones, very very plasticky and very rubbish actually when you take one apart. Maybe I'll take one apart on the show one week, so I've not even looked at them. I got two boxed actually, or at least one's in the original box, and they are such horrible plasticky things. Very very easy. You could certainly drop washers into them and it would work. You know, no sort of coin sensing or counterfeit sensing thing in them at all. Basically, you just drop a coin against a micro switch, it just falls inside and connects the line. So no, not proper payphones, but I have got those private ones that you might find on the bar in a pub sort of thing. Gambo says, I've got a payphone dial that I got in a box of dials with some Russian ones, I think, but no body or handset. Yeah, payphone dials do turn up quite a lot. The way to spot a payphone dial is there is a countersunk Allen key screw, countersunk Allen screw in the middle of the dial label, and the cover for the dial label is actually a thick piece of plastic, like a thick piece of perspex on a payphone. The dial is basically very similar to a dial 21, but it's got a couple of extra contacts on the back which it needs to make it work as a payphone dial, basically, to cut a long story short. But they are turning up quite regularly. They generally have metal finger wheels, stainless steel finger wheels, so they look a lot like a dial 12 at first glance, but they're not. The payphone. If you see a dial 21 with a metal finger wheel, look at it again, it's probably a payphone dial. Christopher says it looks like someone got an Australia PMG 802 phone and used a line cord and circuit board on that payphone. Do you think that circuit board is out of an 802 then, Christopher? A PMG 802. I was wondering what the circuit board was out of, what Americans would call that. Network. I was wondering what it was out of that. It looks vaguely familiar, but I can't quite place it. Christopher says, I'll send you a photo showing the Australia line cord. Brilliant. Fat Hobbit says, Russian dials are interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of Russian phones that pop up on eBay. I've never been tempted to buy one yet. I don't tend to buy the sort of continental stuff. The only exception I generally make to it is the American things, like 500s and that. But I don't tend to buy stuff that comes from Europe or Russia or places like that. Because, well, I just don't. I don't know the history of it and all that kind of thing, and it never looks terribly well built. I have got some European phones and they're always a bit of a disappointment, to be quite honest, with the build quality of them. But American stuff is generally very well built, particularly the stuff that was built by Western Electric or Northern Electric. You know, Western Electric, part of Bell, their stuff is bomb-proof. I would say it's better than the British GPO stuff, personally. Certainly the 500, this is going to be controversial, but I've said it before, the 500 series phone is definitely better than the 706/746. Definitely better. You only have to try and put the case on to realise that the 500 is better, but you can actually do it with the 500 rather than have to bend everything like you do on a British one. Carl said he's got no idea they had a hexagon centre in there. Christopher says, look at that circuit board, it should say AWA on the circuit board, if it is an Australian circuit board in that payphone. AWA it should say on it, shouldn't it? Right, I'll get it out again. It's giving me a workout every time I have to pick this up. Right, we will put it on the desk and we will have a look and see if we can see anything. It does indeed say AWA, Christopher. I don't know if you can see it or not on the camera, but it says PCA-2 AWA on there. That is what it says. I don't suppose you've got a circuit diagram for one of those anywhere, have you, Christopher? By any chance, you could email over, because it's got, I think some of the connections for this are in the wrong place, and some are missing because they've had a go at wiring up some cords and that, but I don't think it's terribly right how it's wired. I think somebody sort of half done it and got fed up with it and then just left it somewhere for years and years and years. Is that out of the original phone then, Christopher, as well? That looks like a little buzzer or something to me. And it says RCM 754 75101, I think, on it. Or is it 76101? RCM 76101, perhaps. on there. It looks like a little buzzer, that similar thing to what they fit into Erica phones. Similar, I believe. But yeah, I was wondering what that was at. An Australian 800 series. Well, where have I seen one of those? Interesting. Very interesting. So we reckon that's... So we've got an American designed phone made for use in Canada with Australian bits in it, found in the UK. Now, there should be something in there to please everybody, no matter where you are. Alright. We are gradually solving the mystery of it, though. That's what's good about this. We do solve some mysteries, so that's good. Right. Dominic says, if the Soviet phones are anything like the Soviet cameras, they'll be a copy of something else that was made 20 years earlier. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get one of these Soviet phones and have a look at it. But they do pop up with surprising regularity on eBay. Dominic also says 500s are quite handy for systems which have the US cadence as default. There was an internal phone system at a flat housing a few years ago which had a single ring. Yeah, mine here does a single ring for certain things. Chris said, I'm sending an email to you to show you PMG 802 circuit board and line code. Excellent, Christopher. Excellent. We'll have a little look at it in a minute then, perhaps. Cool. While Christopher is doing that, we have had a few other photographs sent in to us, a couple of which were by Christopher actually, this week. Arthur sent this to us. This is spotting phones in television shows and feature films. This is an interesting one. This is a scene from one of the very first Carry On films, from Carry On Regardless, which we believe was made in about 1960. Now, look over his shoulder there. That's a 706, isn't it? Well, no, because it's a private use thing. Look, it's just got numbers on the dial bezel, and it's got a metal finger wheel, and if you look very carefully you will see what appears to be a carrying handle as well, which looks darker than the rest of the phone. Now I think that carrying handle is probably a metal one, which tells me that it's probably an Ericsson N1900 variant of some kind. But it's very, very early on. I mean, the GPO had only just got that sort of phone by the time this film was in production, so it's very, very early on. Thanks to Arthur for that spot there from Carry On Regardless. We were talking about Christopher's war phone. It's GEC war phone. It's not a GPO phone. It's a GEC war phone. And I've sent him a few bits for this because although it looks complete there, if you look really, really closely, it's not got a dial bezel on it. I think that's a piece of cardboard he's painted black that's on there at the moment. So one of those is winging its way to Australia with a couple of other bits as well. So it can finish that off. But wall phones generally 711s and then 741s, as the GPO called them, were made in generally three colours: ivory, grey and black. And black, when it comes to war phones, is the rarest of the colours. So Christopher's done quite well there to get a black one. Now I know there are people that say there are red ones that were used in fire stations. Yeah, I know. All I'm going to say about that is I've never seen a genuine one. There are certainly repro red cases that you can buy now, brand new, and put on those phones. But I've never seen a genuine one at the time in the 70s. I've never seen a photograph of one or anything. What I have seen is photographs of grey ones in fire stations with red dial bezels and possibly also red handsets, I think. But I've not seen one with a red case. I'm not saying they didn't exist. I'm saying I've never seen one. And I think from my point of view, it's going to be, I'll believe it when I see it, about those red ones. But that's one of Christopher's phones there. And here's a couple more of Christopher's phones. An early 746 and even earlier 706 there. And the 706, you can't really tell from that picture, but the 706 I believe has got a dial 12 on it with a metal finger wheel. I know it looks white in that picture, but I think it's the way the light's shining on it. But two grey phones, and both are equal shade of grey, and that's not easy to do because you often get one that's more suntanned than the other. So they look pretty. They might be slightly suntanned, the pair of them, but they're certainly nice, clean examples of what they are. So that's just a few of the photos. There have been some other photos sent to me, but just before we came on air, I was trying to ingest them into the system, and of course the damn thing won't take them in. So I'll have to find a way of getting those into the system. Right, I'm just going to have a little look and see if that circuit board image for the 802 has arrived. It has. Right, I'm just having to do some work on it because it's come out sideways on. One moment, please. That's better. Right, image. Right, I'm just trying to get this image so that I can show you it. should now hopefully be able to open that. Right, let's see if I can do this. Right, I can now capture my screen, it says. Okay. Right, so I should momentarily be able to show you this, all being well. Open with image viewer like that, and then I go like that and get rid of that, and then you should be able to see that, and apparently that is the schematic for this circuit board that somebody's put in that payphone. So it tells me that wiring from outside goes to 2 and 6 somewhere on that circuit board. So what I would have to do is have a look where 2 and 6 are and see if they are in the right place to do that. Hang on now, transition back to that. So is there a number 2 and a number 6 on here that are connected to leg A and leg B? We'll have a look, shall we? Right, well actually this is where they're going. So there's a yellow there going to something marked, seems to be marked A, and a red going to something marked B, and a green going to something marked GSA. So I've got things marked A and B, but nothing marked 2 and 6 that I can see. So I haven't got any ideas there, Christopher. Doesn't appear to be marked the same way that your thing is. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. P2 and S. P1 and S. Oh, I've got P2. I don't know if there's a P1 in there somewhere. I can't see all of them, but I have got P2 in it. GS4, I've got a GS5, GS23, GS26 on my board. Are they on that picture anywhere? No, they're not, are they? I wonder if it's a slightly different version that you've got there, Christopher, because it looks like I've got things like C1 marked. Yeah, I've got C1 there, and that's jumper to S in yours, and what's it jumper to in mine? It's jumper to what does that say on it there? Jumper to what I believe is GS4 in mine. Oh, GS4 and C1 are jumpered together, according to that, with S. Oh, S will mean slate, because it is a grey wire that jumpers them together. So if you look there, GS4 and C1, so yeah, that's sensible then. And then it says P5 and P4. Well, I can't see those, but the circuit board's a bit dirty, so I might have to clear. Oh, I've got P4, P3, P5. Yeah, I've got those. I can see those. So yeah, perhaps it is the same thing. That schematic though, that diagram, bears absolutely no resemblance to how the circuit board actually looks. It's not actually laid out like that at all. That is not like a drawing of the circuit board. That is a schematic of the wiring, but the circuit board is not actually in that configuration at all. But yeah, we'll figure it out from that. So thanks for that, Christopher. I will sit down and have a good look at that after the show. Try and make some sense out of it. But yeah, good spot that was an Australian circuit board. I would never have got that in a million years, that was an Australian circuit board. Let's hope it works. I'm going to find another one of those over here, aren't I? But good spot, well done. Right, I'm going to put it away again now. Yeah, Gembo says, talking of war phones, does anyone have spare blank buttons for a 741 in ivory? As I have one with a press button but no blanks either side. Yeah, you sent me a message about this a couple of weeks back, didn't you, Gembo? The 741, the war phone, if you imagine that bit on the top, for those that don't know, just above the dial, there's like a plate that normally sort of clips in, a long oblong plate. Well, if you've got a button on a 741 or indeed on a 711, the button goes in the middle. Then you need two little blanking pleases to go either side of the button, and they are rare as rare, and they do fall out. So if anybody's got one, get in touch with Gambo Scott on here, and if you're watching this after the event and you can't get in touch with him, then get in touch with me, you can drop me a line through the website, andyshed.coldpress.net. There's a contact form on there if you've not got the contact details already, and you can get in touch with us that way if you like. Also remember that we have the forum as well. If you fancy going and having a go on our forum, I will try and get it up for you. The forum is here. If I can figure it out, it is www.gpotelephones.proboards.com, and there you have it. That is that's the old forum there, and feel free to create threads and stuff. I've not paid the forum much attention over the last week because I've been a bit busy, but I am going to sort of add in a bit more stuff to it. But if you want to send in photos or anything, putting them on the forum is a really good way of sending in photos now. You can start a thread on the forum and stick them in there, and it's a really good way of doing it. Probably easier than sending them all to me, actually, because sometimes I just forget that I've had them and things, because to be honest we're getting quite a lot now. But you can still send them to me if you want, but the other way of doing it, of course, is the forum. You do have to register with the forum to post stuff. You can read it without registering, but you do have to register to post stuff. All you have to do is click on register up here. Just click on that little thing there that says register on it, then it'll ask you for an email address, continue, and then it'll ask you to put in a username and a password, and it's as simple as that to register on the old forum. And there's all kinds of things on there. Gambo's put on his 746 Magneto phone by the looks of it. Oops, there was an error. Guess not have access to download attachment. Yeah, that's because I've not signed into it. But yeah, he put his photos on there, and of his Magneto 746. Very unusual phone, that indeed. If anybody knows anything about that, get on the forum there and have a chat with Gambo about it. But that's it. gpotelephones.proboards.com, and while we're doing this, we also of course have the shop, which is https can't type now, Andy's Emporium. It's basically andysemporium.coldpress.net, and this is the shop. You just click on the visit our shop thing towards the bottom of the screen there, and if you want the telephone stuff, go into the vintage telephone department there, and you'll see there's loads of telephone stuff on now, all kinds of dials and finger wheels and things. There is quite a lot of it, all in there for your perusing pleasure. So have a little look at that. Cool. Right, we'll go back to it, shall we? Hang on, where are we now? I'll get back eventually where I should be. There I am. Oh, the technicalities of this. Right, what are people saying here? Chris says he also sent a picture, show the PMG 802 circuit board and line cord. Cool. I'll have a look at those when we've done, Chris, because I had a bit of trouble getting into the system. For some reason, a lot of people send me pictures of that, and they always seem to come out sideways. I've got no idea why, but they do. Dominic says, I'll have to pop a post on the forum about my 3746Ls on there. Yes, do. Yeah, he's got 3 now. What you got, Dominic? You got a grey one? Oh, you got a grey one, an ivory one, and a red one, haven't you now? So you still need a black one, a green one, a yellow one. That'll be hard to find. A black one, a green one, a yellow one. What's the other colour? Black, green, yellow. I'm having a bit of a mental block. There should be 7, shouldn't there? Black, green and yellow. You've got ivory, red and grey. What is the other colour? Come on, somebody, please shout it at me. I'm just having a brain cloud or something. There's 7. I'm sure there's 7. Concord blue. It came to me. Yeah, Concord blue. You need to get. Have I got a Concord blue one? You know, I've got so many now. I can't remember because they're not all on shelves. You know, when you see the loft, you see the shelves with all the phones on. They're not all on shelves, and some of them are packed away. And the ones that are packed away, I forget what I've got. Yeah. Dominic's now saying Concord blue. That would be a very tricky one. He says he's only ever seen one photo of it. Yeah, I don't know if I've got a Concord blue one. People always used to say to me, Concord blue, of all those original colours, and of course we're not counting brown, because brown came along later, and they never did a 746L in brown. If you've got a brown one, it's a grey one that's faded. But people always say to me, the Concord blue one is the rarest colour. So I always say, Concord blue is the rarest colour. And I don't think it is, because I've got quite a few Concord blue phones. I think topaz yellow is the rarest colour, personally. It's just that people think there are a lot of topaz yellow ones because they're ivory ones that have got suntan. But actual genuine yellow ones, I don't think there's that many. A 746L in topaz yellow would be an interesting find, I think. Christopher says, how big do the photos have to be to fit them in the forum? I think reasonably sensibly sized, Christopher. So do you mean big in terms of how many kilobytes they are, or big in terms of how many pixels they are? If you make your photo sort of no more than about let's say 1,000 pixels wide and 1,000 pixels tall, if you stay within that will easily upload to the forum, and stick it into a JPEG format if you can as well. But I think other things will upload, bigger pictures will upload, and that it'll just take a while. But you'd have to do a bit of experimentation with it. Christopher says, was there ever a dark green 746 phone? Haha! No. But you do see them. And this caught me out for a very long time. You see, I don't know if it was 746 or 706 that I saw, and it was a actually very attractive dark bottle green, plain bottle green, not two-tone, plain, a dark bottle green colour. I think it was a 746. and I thought, what is this? And what it turns out it is it's a Concord blue one that's done the suntan thing with the ABS yellowing, because when the Concord blue, which is already a kind of muddy blue that's bordering on green anyway, even when it's new, when the ABS yellows on a Concord blue phone, it turns it green. And it's one of the most attractive ones when it does do the yellowing thing. I don't tend to put Concord blue phones back when they've yellowed, unless they've yellowed unevenly. If it's gone evenly, they do go this nice, very dark bottle green, sort of British racing green sort of colour. But what they actually are is they are Concord blue ABS plastic that has yellowed, and of course add blue and yellow together, what do you get? Green. So that's what happens. That's where those green ones come from. Christopher says, I saw a dark green 746 phone on eBay. Yeah, if it was all dark green, it's almost certainly actually a Concord blue one. Dominic agrees. He says it's a faded Concord blue. I'm not sure we keep calling them faded. I'm not sure fade is the right word for it, because when something fades it goes lighter, doesn't it? But they don't, they go darker. It's weird. Suntanned, because it is the sun that does it. Because when you get a phone that's been in one position for many years, that's like been on an office desk or something, or in some kind of workshop or something, it's just sat there for years and years and years on the windowsill, it does do it just on one side. Chris says, how big do the photos need to be in megabytes? Well, if you make them about 1,000 by about 1,000, you should hopefully make them into JPEG. You should hopefully come in with each photo under 1 megabyte, I would have thought. I don't know if there is a limit on it, to be honest with you, Christopher. I'd have to find out about that. But for making the forum load on people's screens, don't make them too big, because if you make them massive, the page loads and then the photo doesn't load very fast. So basically get them down to about 1,000 by 1,000 at most, in JPEG format, and it should be so many 100k then, rather than in megabytes, and that's ideal for putting on the forum. Right, I think we've basically about cracked it there. I think we've caught up with everything there for tonight. Before we go, just time to tell you that we are going to be back this week with Andy Shed Late. We did the first one last week. If you haven't seen it, check out on the YouTube channel, type in Andy Shed Late and you should find it. It's basically this, but in a different time slot. So it's better for some of our more international viewers who like to watch in other parts of the world where it's not such a stupid hour in the middle of the night as it is here where we're actually making it. So yeah, Andy Shed Late will be back this week, but this week will be the last Monday one, because as from the following week it'll be moving to Wednesday at 11:30. But this Monday 11:30 p.m. So that's tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. for Andy Shed Late tomorrow. Okay. Then it will be moving to Wednesday from next week, just to space things out in the week a bit more. Jimmy says, gotta go, see you all next week. Are you doing any late shows this week? Jimmy asks. Yeah. I must have read your mind there, Jimmy. Yeah, we're doing the late one, 11:30 tomorrow, i.e. Monday, and then from the following week it's going to move to Wednesday, still at 11:30 though. Dominic says, I wonder what the phones at the tanning parlour were like. Hopefully not ivory. Bronzed, I would say. They probably have to take them around the hairdressers to get the hydrogen peroxide so they can lighten them up again. But see, I wonder what the sunbed would do to one actually. With all that ultraviolet light in a sunbed. It tans us. Does it tan telephones? That's an interesting question. Christopher says, do you ever see un-suntanned phones in ivory? I have a PMG 802 in ivory that's not sun damaged. Yeah, you do get quite a lot that are not sun damaged. Yeah, you get a lot of 746s and that are pretty much as they left the factory. They have to be in one position in bright sun for quite a long time for them to go. Particularly the ivory ones. The grey ones seem worse for some reason. The grey ones seem to go brown more than the ivory ones do. Gambo says, I'm your new patron, by the way. That's my full title, not my YouTube handle. Cool! Excellent! I was wondering who it was. For those of you who don't know, you can of course join us on Patreon for basically I think it's $1 I'm never quite sure if it's $1 or £1 Great British pound a month. I know it doesn't make much difference, but I'm never quite sure which of the two it is, because 1 minute Patreon tells me everything in pounds, the next it tells it me in dollars. But for basically roughly about £1 British pound or $1, you can, if you like, join us on Patreon. If you want to do it, go here, patreon.com/Andy Shed. People who are patrons get access to a special blog that I do where you get a first look at things. So the patrons have already seen the payphone and stuff like that, and there will be some Patreon only videos coming out eventually as well when I get my act together. So that's at patreon.com/Andy Shed. If you want to join us and support the show on there, you can. Cool. Right. What's everybody saying? Christopher says he's got a Diacon N1671 phone in grey. Is it Diacon? I didn't know they made that. I didn't know those were made out of Diacon. But yeah, I didn't realise it was Diacon. That, Christopher. I've seen pictures of that, but I didn't realise it was Diacon. That was one of the photos I think that I tried to get on tonight, but my computers will not play ball with certain photos for some reason, and I've got no idea why. And this is the new computer as well. But I'll work on it. I'll work on it this week. See if we can get those other photos on. Right, I think that is about as far as we go for this week. The trim phone is now complete. Oh, one other little thing to tell you. Somebody sent me a phone in to have some restoration work done on it this week. A nice chap called Darren has sent me 312 in. Here. If you're watching, Darren, we've got it, mate. It's arrived here safely. I've sent you an email about it, and I've got your reply. We'll be starting work on that this week, and then we'll get it back to you all fully working. Because it's got a couple of little issues, but nothing that we can't fix. If you want to send a phone in to be restored, if you don't fancy having a go at it yourself, get in touch with me through the website initially, andyshed.coldpress.net. If you've not got my email address already, get in touch with me, say you've got a phone that you want restoring, and I will let you know Basically rough costings and all that sort of thing, and how to get it to me and all that, yada yada yada. andyshed.coldpress.net and click on contact us. That website will be having a makeover quite soon, by the way, so not before time because it's a bit out of date. Right, that is about as far as we go for tonight. Thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat again. Remember, please give it a like, a thumbs up and whatnot, and if you're not a subscriber, please hit subscribe, and equally, if not more importantly, also hit the bell icon so you know when we put new videos up. If you think you've hit the bell icon before to get notifications about new videos, but you've not received any, just check in the list of people you subscribe to that it is turned on, because YouTube seems to have a habit of quietly switching off notifications for people who have switched them on. So just check it's still on there, because it does somehow get turned off by the terror of YouTube. Gambo says he could never get the wire between the terminals on the 312. It's tricky. It's tricky. They're not as easy to wire as the 700 series, but it's not impossible. It can be done. Perhaps we'll make a video when I do this one for Darren. Perhaps I'll make a video of what we've got to do, because one of the things we've got to do is fit a modern line cord to it. But it's got a nice cloth cord, a nice sort of. It's not really plaited, but it's not a plait. But I don't know what you'd call it. It's not braided either. I'm not sure what you'd call that. But it's got one of those nice original sort of cloth cords on it. So we're going to do it by keeping that cord on and keeping the original little junction box on as well. So we'll probably make a video, not a live but a recorded video when we do it, so you can see how to do it if you've got one. Right, Christopher says, I saw a GEC 746 being sold in Melbourne on eBay. Wow. That'll be your next purchase then, Christopher, will it? You'll have as many as me soon. Right, that is about as far as we go for this week. I know Dominic's off. It's time for me to go as well. My pizza is calling me. Thanks to everybody for watching this week. As I say, if you fancy joining us on Patreon, you can. Patreon.com/AndyShed is the place to go for that. And if you want to go to the forum, then the forum is there. It's gpotelephones.proboards.com as well. We will be back tomorrow night, 11:30, in the middle of the night in the UK tomorrow. Better for you if you're in places like America and Australia though. And we will have more from Andy's Shed, but from me for now, have a great Sunday evening, Sunday morning, Monday morning, whatever it happens to be where you are, and we will see you next time. Before we go, Gambo says he's wired a 330 and a 332, but not a 312 properly. I'll show you all how to do that on a video, I think, Gambo. I think that'll be the easiest way to do that, so I can do close-ups and I can show you that. Christopher is getting a GEC phone soon, another one. And Wesley says, thanks Andy, bye. Thanks Wesley. We'll see you and everyone else next time, maybe even tomorrow if you can all stay up that late. But for me, for now, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, or whatever day it happens to be, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.